I was awakened by hunger, with a dull ache at the back of my head. Opening my eyes to moldy wooden beams overhead, the air thick with dampness and a faint medicinal smell. This wasn't my rented flat, nor was it the BBQ stand beneath my office building. I remembered closing up shop, clutching 3,000 quid in cash, looking forward to buying a durian, when a lorry running a red light sent me flying. Now here I was, in this sorry state. "My lady, you are awake," came a timid voice. Beside me crouched a palace maid with twin buns, gaunt and sallow Qingtao, the original owner's personal servant. Through the remnants of the original's memories, I pieced together my situation. I'd become Shen Ruo Ning of the Great Jin Dynasty, daughter of General Shen, recently elevated to imperial consort only to be banished to the cold palace 3 months later for defying His Majesty. The so-called defiance. The original had caught consort Bai in flagrante with another man, only to have Bai turn the tables, accusing her of jealousy and insubordination. The emperor, believing the lies, had banished her with a single decree. The Shen family paid the price too, father and brother exiled to guard the bitter frontier, their fate unknown. "My lady, you haven't eaten for 3 days. Qingtao only has half a stale bun." The maid offered the moldy bread with tears in her eyes. I looked at the spotted thing and felt my stomach turn. "No thanks, that'll kill me faster than starvation." The cold palace was isolated, its walls half crumbled, weeds choking the courtyard. Only a main room and a woodshed remained. I struggled to my feet, surveying my meager inheritance. The main room held nothing but a broken bed and a paint-peeling cabinet. The shed, however, was stacked with kindling, and in the corner sat a rusty iron pot, along with a pouch of ancient salt and half a jar of moldy Sichuan peppercorns. Hang on, Sichuan peppercorns. A light bulb went off in my head. I'd run a BBQ stand for 5 years in my previous life, working my way up from street vendor to chain restaurant owner. My grilling skills might not be world-class, but they could draw queues round the block. The cold palace might be remote, but the imperial palace folk ate frightfully bland food. If I could set up a BBQ stand specializing in spicy, flavorful skewers, surely I could make some proper money. Once I'd earned enough, I could either scarper to find father and brother, or buy a mansion in the capital and live the good life. Better than starving to death in this godforsaken place. Action spoke louder than words. I had Qingtao clean out the woodshed and scrub the iron pot, then dug out the original's old jewelry to have the gate eunuch exchange for silver coins. With those, she'd buy cumin, chili powder, sesame seeds, and fresh pork belly, chicken wings, and mutton from outside the palace. Qingtao hesitated initially. "My lady, if we're caught, it is execution." "What is to fear?" I thumped my chest. "We're in the deepest part of the cold palace. Who is going to check? Besides, starving's still death. Better to take a punt and earn some silver for a decent life." Convinced, Qingtao set off with the coins. By evening, she'd returned with not just ingredients but intelligence. "My lady," I heard the old eunuch saying, "the palace ladies all find the imperial kitchen's food terribly bland lately. Quite a few are seeking novel delicacies." Brilliant. Heaven was helping me. That very night, the woodshed glowed with firelight. I lit the kindling, set up the iron pot, and added a splash of borrowed vegetable oil from the imperial kitchen. Once heated, I skewered the pork belly and chicken wings, brushed them with sauce, sprinkled on cumin and chili powder, and set them over the fire to slowly roast. Sizzle. The meat drippings hit the coals, releasing an intoxicating aroma. The cumin's pungency mingled with the meat's richness, wafting beyond the cold palace walls into the silent night. "My lady, it smells divine." Qingtao stood beside me, practically drooling. I'd barely finished the first pork belly skewer when I heard rustling outside the wall. A palace maid was sneaking peeks over the wall. "What is that lovely smell coming from in there?" It was Chun Xing from the neighboring palace. The original knew her. I beckoned her over. "Chun Xing, come try some." 1 pork belly skewer, 5 coins. Her eyes lit up as she scrambled over, handed over the coins, and bit into the skewer. Her eyes went wide as saucers. Blimey, this is absolutely brilliant, 100 times better than anything from the imperial kitchen. Chun Xing wolfed it down, buying 2 more before leaving, saying she'd take them for her mistress consort Hui to try. I hadn't expected business to pick up so quickly. No sooner had I seen off Chun Xing than footsteps approached the gate. This time it wasn't a maid but a woman in rich palace robes with a black cloak, consort Hui herself. Known for her dignified virtue, I never imagined she'd come to the cold palace at midnight. She removed her cloak, revealing a refined face, but her eyes were fixed hungrily on my skewers. Sister Shen, Chun Xing's skewers were indeed delicious. Might there be more? This consort would like to purchase some. I smirked inwardly. Dignity was just an act, the foodie nature couldn't be hidden. I quickly offered freshly grilled chicken wings. Consort Hui, fresh off the grill with double chili powder. Do try them, 1 tael of silver each. She didn't haggle, took a bite, gasped at the heat, but kept eating with increasing enthusiasm. Delicious. Absolutely delicious. 10 more, make them the spiciest. I grilled away while Hui sat beside me, eating and complaining. The palace food is either sweet or bland. I am practically fading away from blandness. Only your skewers have proper flavor. By the time consort Hui left with her takeaway bag, I'd earned 10 taels of silver. Qingdao was trembling with excitement. My lady, we're rich. I pocketed the silver with a grin, unaware that in the old locust tree outside the cold palace wall, a man in dark robes stood watching, his black hair flowing in the wind. His deep eyes were fixed on the direction of the woodshed, the tantalizing aroma seeming to linger at his nostrils. Your Majesty, it is late. Time to return to the palace, murmured eunuch Li behind him. The man didn't turn, merely asking coolly, what is Shen Ruo Ning doing in the cold palace? Your Majesty, she appears to be grilling something. Consort Hui just visited and bought quite a few skewers. The man raised an eyebrow, curiosity flickering in his eyes. He remembered Shen Ruo Ning from 3 months ago, timid and fearful when entering the palace, barely daring to look at him. How had she become so different after being banished to the cold palace? That aroma was indeed rather compelling. With consort Hui as a walking advertisement, my BBQ stand absolutely took off. The next evening, I'd barely lit the coals when I heard footsteps from all directions outside the walls. First came consort Ru with 2 maids scrambling over. Sister Shen, quickly grill me 10 lamb kidney skewers, fatty ones. Next, consort Gia's sedan chair actually stopped at the cold palace gate. She didn't dare enter personally, but had a eunuch pass money through, ordering 20 pork belly skewers for takeaway. Qingdao and I were run off our feet, while the aroma spread even further. Beauty-ranked concubines and answers from neighboring palaces came crawling over walls, all wrapped in cloaks, terrified of discovery. Sister Shen, grill mine first. I was here first, why should you? I'll pay double, grill mine first. Stop squabbling, keep fighting, and I'll tell the Empress Dowager you are trespassing in the cold palace. This silenced everyone for a moment before the arguing resumed. Nobody wanted to give up these divine skewers. The fiercest dispute was between consorts Ru and Gui over the last chicken wing skewer. Starting with words, they soon came to blows. Ru grabbed Gui's hair ornament while Gui shoved back. They rolled on the ground, hairpins scattered everywhere, still shouting, "That wing is mine!" I watched in amazement while Qingtao trembled with fear. I calmly picked up a freshly grilled squid skewer and coughed. Ladies, stop fighting, fresh grilled squid here. First payment gets it, 2 taels silver, no haggling. Both immediately stopped fighting and simultaneously produced silver. I'll buy it. I cheerfully took the money, gave the squid to Ro, quickly grilled another for Gui. No rush, ladies, eat slowly, plenty more where that came from. Watching them simultaneously nursing disheveled hair while wolfing down skewers, I was over the moon. These weren't imperial consorts. They were walking cash machines. Busyness boomed, so I set up stone tables and chairs in the courtyard and introduced a membership system. Top up 10 taels for 2 free skewers, 50 taels for VIP status, with priority service and custom orders. the consorts queued to top up just for a hot bite. My silver collection grew by the day, and I was grinning from ear to ear. Not until the small hours when most consorts had left did I begin clearing up for the day's accounting with Qingdao. Suddenly, there was a thud from the wall as a dark figure dropped down, landing steadily. The man wore dark martial garb, stood tall and straight, with a black cloth covering his face, revealing only deep eyes. He looked like a guard. My heart skipped. I thought he'd come to arrest me for running the stall. Just as I was about to speak, he walked straight up to me with a low voice. Any skewers left? So he was here to eat. I relaxed, sizing him up. This guard had uncommon bearing, and his fabric looked expensive. No ordinary guard. Yes, I immediately brightened. There is lamb kidney, pork belly, and chicken wings left. What would you like? 3 of each light salt, extra spicy. His tone was casual, but carried an undeniable authority. I grilled efficiently, thinking this guard must serve someone important, and would probably pay well. When I handed them over, he took a bite, and his eyes clearly brightened. How much? He asked. Lamb kidney 3 taels each, pork belly 2 each, chicken wings 2 each, 23 taels total. I quoted a high price, figuring he wouldn't mind the cost. He paused, seemingly surprised by the price, but didn't haggle. He pulled out an ingot and handed it over. Keep the change. The ingot was worth 50 taels. My eyes lit up as I accepted it. Much obliged, sir. Next time you'll get a 10% discount. He said nothing, eating while surveying my courtyard setup with curious eyes. After finishing the last skewer, he wiped his mouth, vaulted the wall, and vanished into the night. Clutching that 50-tael ingot, I beamed. Qingdao, see. That is what I call a quality customer. If he becomes a regular, we'll have mansion money in no time. Qingdao was equally thrilled. My lady, he seems so mysterious. Could he be? Who cares who he is? I cut her off. As long as he pays, he is a good customer. Little did I know, that mysterious guard had returned to the heart-nurturing hall, removed his mask to reveal a strikingly handsome face. None other than Emperor Xiao Mu Han of the Great Jin Dynasty. He sat on the dragon throne, fingertips still redolent of cumin and chili, his mind full of the skewer's flavor. Your Majesty, are consort Shen skewers truly that delicious? Eunuch Li asked carefully. Xiao Mu Han raised an eyebrow. Indeed, quite good. He'd originally gone to see what Shen Ruo Ning was up to in the cold palace, never expecting to be captivated by the skewer's aroma. What intrigued him more was how that once timid Shen Ruo Ning had become so mercenary, even daring to overcharge him 50 taels. Fascinating. Xiao Mu Han's lips curved in a slight smile. Tomorrow night, another visit. Eunuch Li's mouth twitched. His Majesty was addicted to BBQ. My stand's business grew increasingly explosive, even attracting palace eunuchs and guards as secret customers. The cold palace gate formed nightly queues, becoming the palace's unofficial late-night canteen. I was coining it, counting silver till my hands ached, while gleaning palace gossip from customers' chatter. Consort Bai was increasingly favored, often whispering sweet nothings to the emperor. Consorts Hui and Gui had become foodie allies through skewer competition, and that mysterious guard customer had indeed become regular, visiting nightly with fixed orders, spending lavishly without haggling. I grew increasingly curious about his identity but didn't pry. Better not to ask what shouldn't be asked. Earning money was the main thing. That evening, while grilling, I heard commotion outside the gate. Consort Bai swept in with a crowd of maids and eunuchs, her face like thunder. Shen Ruo Ning, what audacity, she scolded immediately upon entering. How dare you run a BBQ stall in the cold palace, corrupting palace rules and bewitching the consorts? Do you know your crime? My heart sank. This had been coming. Consort Bai had long resented me, and with business booming, she was obviously jealous and looking for trouble. Consort Bai. I set down my skewers and looked at her calmly. I am running a stall in the cold palace, bothering whom exactly? The ladies come willingly. I neither steal nor rob. What crime is there? What crime? Bai laughed coldly. Your skewers contain heaven knows what. making the consorts lose their minds and ignore palace rules. Today I'll clean house for the Empress Dowager and smash your wretched stall, she signaled her servants, who immediately rushed forward to overturn my grills and destroy my setup. Who dares touch my skewers? I quickly grabbed nearby skewer sticks, pointing them threateningly. Anyone who dares destroy my stall gets these sticks in their eyes. My fierce glare and aggressive stance actually made the servants step back. Seeing this, Bai went white with rage, rebellion. How dare a discarded consort act so brazenly? Attack them. I'll take responsibility for any consequences. Just then, a voice rang out. Stop! Consorts Hui and Gui had appeared from nowhere, followed by several beauties and answers. Hui stepped beside me, coldly facing Bai. Consort Bai, Sister Shen's skewers are delicious. We all come willingly. Where is this bewitchment you speak of? If you want to destroy the stall, ask us first if we agree. Exactly, Gui chimed in. Sister Shen's skewers are the palace's tastiest food. If you destroy them, what will we eat? Other consorts nodded in agreement. Right, no destroying allowed. Bai was stunned that these consorts would defend me. After a moment's hesitation, she raged, You've all been bewitched. This Shen Ruo Ning is viciously scheming. She defied His Majesty from jealousy of this consort before, and now uses these dubious methods to win you over. Don't be fooled. We're not fooled, declared a beauty. Sister Shen's skewers are good value, though not exactly cheap, and she is straightforward, much better than you with your constant scheming. How dare you insult me? Bai trembled with fury. About to strike, I blocked her way, sneering, Consort Bai, this is the cold palace, not your spring harmony palace. To destroy my stall, you'll have to get past me first. Besides, think we don't know your little schemes. You are just jealous of my successful business, afraid I might make a comeback. So you are here causing trouble. Nonsense. Bai's face changed, apparently struck by my words. In the corner shadows, a dark figure silently observed everything. Xiao Mu Han had come for skewers, but stumbled upon Bai's troublemaking. Watching Shen Ruo Ning wielding skewer sticks fearlessly against Bai's intimidation, completely different from the timid woman of 3 months past, he found her increasingly intriguing. Seeing the consorts unite against Bai over skewers was particularly novel. Your Majesty, shall this servant intervene? Eunuch Li whispered. Xiao Mu Han shook his head. No need. Let's see how she handles this. Seeing Bai's fierce exterior but weak interior, knowing she dared not actually fight with so many consorts watching, it would damage her reputation if word spread. I pressed my advantage. Consort Bai, today I'll overlook this for the other lady's sake. If you are sensible, leave now and don't interfere with my business. If you keep making trouble, I'll have to report to the Empress Dowager that you trespassed in the cold palace to bully a discarded consort. Bai's face alternated between livid and pale. She glared at me venomously. Shen Ruo Ning, just you wait. With that, she led her people away in defeat. Watching her retreat, I sighed in relief and turned to the consorts with a smile. Thank you, ladies, for speaking up. Today all skewers are 20% off. Brilliant, the consorts cheered, crowding round to order. The previous tension completely dissipated. Xiao Mu Han watched this scene with deepening amusement. This Shen Ruo Ning not only grilled excellent skewers but was sharp-minded, quite an interesting person. He approached, saying as usual, 3 of each, light salt, extra spicy. Seeing him, I immediately brightened. You are here, sir, 20% off today, 18 taels and 4 coins total. Call it 18 even. Xiao Mu Han handed over the money, accepted his skewers, eating while asking, Weren't you afraid when Consort Bai caused trouble earlier? Afraid of what? I laughed. With a clear conscience, shadows don't scare you. She wants to cause trouble but has to see if anyone agrees. Besides, I've got money to make. No time for fear. Xiao Mu Han raised an eyebrow. You do love making money, naturally. I nodded. Money makes the world go round. Only with money can you live the good life. Watching the gleam in my eyes, Xiao Mu Han felt something stir. As emperor possessing the realm's wealth, he'd never felt such passionate desire for money. This Shen Ruo Ning truly differed from all other palace women. Since Bai's troublemaking backfired, my stall's reputation soared. Even low-ranking consorts dared openly patronize me, though still under cover of darkness. That mysterious guard customer came more frequently, sometimes even having rare ingredients like fresh sea fish and venison delivered for me to grill. I was happy to oblige. These were premium ingredients that grilled beautifully, and he always paid double one evening. As he came for skewers, while I grilled venison, I couldn't help asking, "Which palace do you serve, sir? Such generous spending, and you can source such fine ingredients." He paused, eyes flickering briefly before replying coolly, "No comment." Fair enough. I didn't press, though my curiosity only grew. No ordinary guard could access such ingredients or possess such bearing. Perhaps he served some prince. Lost in thought, he suddenly asked, "Where do you source your ingredients?" "The cold palace is remote. Logically, you couldn't obtain such fresh meat." My heart jumped. This was my secret. I quickly deflected, through the gate eunuch's connections. Lucky to find fresh supplies sometimes. He clearly didn't believe me, staring intently as if trying to read my face. I felt rather panicky, fearing he'd discover my secret. Actually, most ingredients came through a tunnel. In my second month here, I discovered a loose stone slab under the old locust tree in the courtyard. Lifting it revealed a tunnel. I later learned my father and brother had secretly dug it after my banishment, partly to send food and silver, partly as an escape route if needed. The tunnel's far end reached a ruined temple outside the palace, where my brother would wait regularly, bringing fresh ingredients and family news while taking my accumulated silver to purchase properties in the capital. Only I, Qingdao, and my family knew this secret. Discovery would mean collective execution for the 9 familial relationships, a capital crime. "Why so quiet?" he pressed. "Nothing. Really," I steadied myself. "Just good luck finding supplies, sir. Your venison's ready, do try it." I quickly handed over the grilled venison to change the subject. He bit into it, his expression softening. Good flavor. He didn't pursue the ingredients question further, and I relaxed. After finishing, he turned to leave as usual. Just then, a breeze knocked off his hat, letting his black hair tumble down to reveal a smooth forehead. I glimpsed his temple where a small cinnabar mole marked the skin. That mole. My heart lurched. In the original's memories, Emperor Xiao Mu Han had an identical mole at his temple. Could he actually be the emperor? I was thunderstruck, dropping my skewer sticks. Sensing my gaze, he quickly retrieved his hat, looking somewhat unnatural. "What is wrong?" "No, nothing." I quickly lowered my head, heart pounding. If he truly was the emperor, having previously overcharged him 50 taels while treating him like an ordinary guard, would I face execution? He glanced at me without further comment, vaulted the wall, and disappeared into darkness. I stood frozen for ages. Qingdao approached puzzled. "My lady, what is wrong? You look pale." "Qingdao," I gripped her arm, lowering my voice. "Do you think that mysterious guard could be His Majesty?" Qingdao went white with terror. "My lady, don't talk nonsense. Why would the emperor come to the cold palace for skewers?" But when I told her about the temple mole, she too froze. If that is true, we're done for." "Don't panic." I took a deep breath, forcing calm. "If he really is the emperor and hasn't exposed me yet, still coming nightly for skewers, it means he doesn't dislike me, might even rather fancy my cooking. As long as I don't make major mistakes, he probably won't trouble me." Despite my words, I felt rather unsettled. After all, I was running a BBQ stall in the cold palace while overcharging the emperor. If this got out, it would be the scandal of the century. Over the following days, that guard continued his regular visits, but I no longer dared overcharge him, always offering fair prices and even throwing in extra skewers. He seemed to notice my change, a hint of amusement in his eyes, though he said nothing. That evening, my brother brought fresh mutton and vegetables through the tunnel, also delivering news. "Father won a great victory at the frontier. His Majesty has issued commendations. The Shen family's situation is improving." My heart leapt. "Really? That is wonderful." But brother sighed. "However, consort Bai's father, Minister Bai Kun of Revenue, still works against us from the shadows. Be extra careful in the palace." I understand. I nodded. Don't worry, brother. I am doing well here and earning good money. Once we've saved enough, we can reunite in the capital. Brother smiled with relief. You've grown up, sister. Use these ingredients for now. I'll bring better supplies next time. Seeing brother off, I surveyed the courtyard full of ingredients with hope filling my heart. If the Shen family could rise again, I could completely escape the cold palace. Then, I'd not only continue my BBQ career, but avenge the original owner by making consort by pay. As for that mysterious guard, emperor or not, approaching me for skewers alone, or with ulterior motives, my heart was full of questions, but more anticipation than worry. Whoever he was, as long as he didn't impede my money-making or revenge, I'd temporarily overlook it. After all, the BBQ business had to continue, silver had to be earned, and my mansion was still waiting. News of the Shen family's frontier victory quickly spread throughout the palace. Consort Baya's expression grew increasingly ugly while my BBQ business flourished more than ever, with several ministers' wives even commissioning skewers through palace consorts. I was raking it in, having already purchased 2 properties in the capital, just waiting for the right moment to completely leave the cold palace. But I hadn't expected trouble to find me again. That afternoon, while sorting ingredients for evening service, I saw a group approaching the cold palace gate. Leading them was Nanny Lu, the Empress Dowager's favorite, looking stern with several maids and eunuchs behind her, clearly up to no good. Shen Ruo Ning received the imperial edict. Nanny Lu produced a scroll. Speaking icily, my heart tightened as I quickly knelt with Qing Dao. By heaven's mandate, the emperor decrees upon investigation, former consort Shen Ruo Ning has failed to maintain proper conduct in the cold palace, running a grilling stall that corrupts palace rules and disturbs the 6 palaces. Nanny Lu shall investigate thoroughly. If proven true, immediate transfer to the Bureau of Punishment for permanent palace detention, so decreed. After reading the edict, Nanny Lu fixed me with a cold stare. Shen Ruo Ning, do you acknowledge your guilt? My heart sank. This was definitely consort Bai's doing through the Empress Dowager. The Bureau of Punishment was the palace's most brutal workplace, where few emerged alive. Nanny, this servant is wronged, I protested immediately. This servant hasn't run a grilling stall, merely prepared occasional snacks in idle cold palace moments to share with servants. There has been no corruption of palace rules. Wronged, Nanny Lu laughed coldly. The entire palace buzzes with talk of your cold palace BBQ stall, where consorts visit nightly. Still dare to deny it. Search everything. The servants immediately charged into the main room and woodshed to search. My heart raced. The shed still contained uncleared grills, skewer sticks, and various seasonings. Once discovered, it would be ironclad evidence. Just then, footsteps approached from outside. Consorts Hui and Gui appeared with several beauties. Nanny Lu, what are you searching for in my sister's cold palace? Consort Hui approached, her tone mild but authoritative. Consort Hui, Nanny Lu bowed. The Empress Dowager heard that former consort Shen runs a grilling stall in the cold palace, corrupting palace rules, so commanded this servant to investigate thoroughly. Oh, such a thing, Hui raised an eyebrow. How was I unaware? I merely visit the cold palace occasionally to see Sister Shen. The poor thing eats and dresses poorly here, so I sometimes bring ingredients for her to grill me some food. How could this constitute running a stall? Consort Gi chimed in. Indeed, Nanny Lu, it is simply sisterly affection and mutual care. Besides, Sister Shen's skewers taste quite good. We just enjoy the novelty. Hardly corruption of palace rules. Other consorts nodded agreement. Exactly. We all came willingly, nothing to do with Sister Shen. And Nanny Lu's face changed. She hadn't expected these consorts to defend me. Looking toward the shed, she saw servants emerging with grills and skewer sticks in hand. Nanny, look here. A eunuch raised the grill. This is evidence of former consort Shen's grilling. Just as Nanny Lu was about to speak, a deep voice rang out. Nanny Lu, this matter seems to be a misunderstanding. Everyone turned to see Xiao Mu Han in casual robes approaching with eunuch Li Mai. Heart jumped. Why had the emperor come? Nanny Lu immediately knelt. "This servant greets your majesty." Other consorts bowed in unison. "Greetings, your majesty." Xiao Mu Han helped Nanny Lu up, saying mildly, "Rise. I heard the Empress Dowager sent you to investigate consort Shen. Is this so, your majesty?" Nanny Liu replied, "This servant heard that former consort Shen runs a grilling stall in the cold palace, corrupting palace rules, hence came to investigate thoroughly." "Running a stall," Xiao Mu Han raised an eyebrow. "Looking at me, Shen Ruo Ning, is this true?" My heart hammered as I quickly replied, "Your Majesty, this servant hasn't run a grilling stall, merely occasionally prepared food for the other consorts, accepting no payment and certainly not corrupting palace rules." Xiao Mu Han looked to consorts Hui and Gi. "Is this so?" Hui quickly nodded. "Your Majesty, precisely so. We merely visited Sister Shen to sample her cooking without payment," Gi added. "Indeed, your Majesty, it is all a misunderstanding." Xiao Mu Han smiled, looking back at Nanny Lu. "Nanny Lu, you've heard them. This is merely sisterly care between consorts, hardly corruption of palace rules. Consort Shen's loneliness in the cold palace led her to prepare food for others. This actually adds warmth to the palace," he continued. "Moreover, consort Shen's father and brother fight valiantly at the frontier, earning great merit for the Great Jin. How could I punish her over such a trivial matter?" Nanny Lu's face fluctuated between colors. She hadn't expected the emperor to defend me. She knew with imperial backing, this matter must end here. "This servant understands," Nanny Lu bowed. "This servant heard false rumors and misunderstood consort Shen. This servant will immediately return to report the true situation to the Empress Dowager." Xiao Mu Han nodded. "Go then. In future, without solid evidence, don't rashly believe rumors and disturb palace residents." This servant obeys. Nanny Liu led her people away dejectedly. Watching her retreat, I sighed in relief and immediately knelt. "This servant thanks your Majesty for clear judgment and clearing this servant's name." Xiao Mu Han helped me up, his expression gentle. "Rise. You've been wronged." His fingertips accidentally brushed my hand, making my heart flutter before I quickly withdrew. Seeing this, consorts Hui and Gui exchanged glances and tactfully withdrew. "Your Majesty, now that the misunderstanding is cleared, we shan't disturb your Majesty and Sister Shen further." Other consorts also departed, leaving only me, Qingdao, Xiao Mu Han, and Eunuch Li in the courtyard. "Your Majesty, why did you come?" I asked quietly. Xiao Mu Han smiled slightly. "I heard someone was troubling you in the cold palace, so came to see." He paused, then added, "Your skewers truly are delicious." I was startled. I hadn't expected him to say this suddenly. Looking at the skewer sticks in my hands, he continued, "Are there skewers tonight?" I quickly nodded. "Yes, your Majesty. What would you like?" "This servant will grill immediately." "The usual 3 of each, light salt, extra spicy," Xiao Mu Han replied. As I efficiently grilled, my mind churned. Not only had the emperor resolved my crisis, he'd admitted enjoying my skewers. Did this mean he didn't despise me as rumored? His temple mole matched that mysterious guard's. Exactly, so that guard really was him. Thinking this, my heart mixed nervousness with anticipation. This aloof emperor secretly visiting for BBQ while defending me. What was he thinking? Looking at his handsome profile, I mused. Regardless of his thoughts, as long as he didn't impede my money-making and revenge, I didn't mind having an imperial customer. After all, imperial silver was the easiest to earn. After the Empress Dowager's investigation incident, my BBQ stall wasn't shut down but gained even greater fame. Even several imperial physicians sent word wanting to try my skewers, claiming spicy food aided appetite and treated poor digestion. I launched 2 new items: grilled vegetable wraps using flatbread to enclose perfectly grilled peppers, aubergine, and bamboo shoots with secret sweet spicy sauce, refreshing and grease-cutting, and charcoal grilled lamb kidneys marinated in wine and spices for half an hour, grilled until crispy outside, but tender and juicy inside, beloved by heavy flavor customers. The new items were instant hits. Consort Hui immediately topped up 100 taels for VIP status, pre-ordering half a month's worth of lamb kidneys. Even the normally light-eating consort, Ru, couldn't resist daily vegetable wraps, claiming they prevented weight gain while satisfying cravings. I was coining it, upgrading my cashier's table to flowering pearwood while having Qingdao sew a brocade money pouch, embroidered with Shen's BBQ. Everything looked more upmarket, but I never imagined Consort Bai would remain relentlessly vindictive. That evening, as Qingdao went to fetch ingredients my brother had sent through the tunnel under the old locust tree, she returned ashen-faced. "My lady, disaster." I saw Consort Bai's headmaid lurking around our ingredient basket, apparently adding something to it. My heart lurched as I immediately examined the basket. Hidden beneath a bunch of spinach was a small packet of white powder, odorless but feeling smooth and fine, clearly nothing good. Was trying to poison my ingredients, causing food poisoning among skewer-eating consorts, then framing me. I was furious. This Consort Bai was utterly vicious. To destroy my BBQ stall, she'd endanger other consorts' lives. Qingdao trembled all over. "My lady, what do we do? Should we give this packet to His Majesty?" "Giving it to His Majesty is too good for her." My eyes gleamed with a plan. "She wants to harm me, so I'll let her taste her own medicine." I pocketed the white powder, then took fresh spinach and deliberately slathered it thickly with spicy sauce before grilling it to glossy perfection. Just as it finished, Consort Bai's headmaid returned, saying her ladyship smelled the aroma and wanted to try the new dish. I sneered inwardly while appearing enthusiastic. "It is her ladyship's person. Please enter. This grilled spinach is a new item complimentary for her ladyship to try." I handed over the heavily sauced grilled spinach with special instructions. "Tell her ladyship this spinach should be eaten hot. The spicier, the better the flavor." The maid accepted the skewer gratefully and hurried back to Spring Harmony Palace. Qingdao and I hid behind the door to observe. Soon we heard screaming from Spring Harmony Palace, followed by Consort Bai's furious cursing. "What is this ghastly thing? I am dying from the heat. And what is this powder all over it?" Turns out that white powder was an upgraded chili powder. I'd used it in my previous BBQ life, called Devil's Heat Powder, 10 times spicier than ordinary chili flakes. Consort Bai had intended to mix it into my ingredients to make customers faint from spiciness, but it backfired when her own maid brought it back, all stuck to the grilled spinach. According to little palace maids who later sneaked over for skewers, Consort Bai had fainted on the spot from that grilled spinach. When she awoke, her lips were swollen like sausages, and she couldn't speak properly for 3 days. She was also punished with a month's house arrest for privately storing extremely spicy substances that disturbed the palace. I laughed heartily upon hearing this and took the opportunity to raise prices. Lamb kidneys, 5 taels, per skewer, vegetable wraps, 3 taels each. VIP members still got 20% off, but the membership threshold rose to 50 taels. Despite this, consorts and palace servants continued flocking to my stall. Everyone said eating at Shen's BBQ not only satisfied cravings, but provided entertainment watching Consort Bai's misfortunes. Truly killing 2 birds with 1 stone. That midnight, the emperor still came disguised as a guard for skewers. Hearing about Consort Bai's predicament, his eyes sparkled with amusement as he ate lamb kidneys and asked, "Aren't you afraid she'll retaliate later?" "Afraid of what?" I rolled my eyes. "If she dares cause more trouble, I'll grill her a skewer with 10 times devil's heat powder on lamb kidneys, make her question her entire existence." The emperor chuckled low, his dark eyes full of tenderness. "You are becoming increasingly bold. Bold fortune favors the brave." As I grilled for him, I continued, "Once I've earned enough silver, I'll not only buy a mansion in the capital but open chain BBQ shops, letting everyone in the realm taste my skills." The emperor watched my animated expression, his smile deepening. "Excellent, I support you. I'll fully invest in your future chain stores." I froze, looking up at him, Under the moonlight, his temple mole was particularly prominent, his eyes sincere and tender. My heart skipped as I quickly lowered my head, pretending to focus on grilling. Much obliged for your patronage, sir. When I open chain stores, I'll definitely give you lifetime free skewer privileges. He chuckled and shook his head without further comment, quietly eating his skewers. I could feel his gaze constantly on me, warm and burning, making my heartbeat quicken. Did this emperor simply enjoy my skewers, or did he fancy me? I dared not think too deeply, focusing attention on grilling instead. After all, making money was paramount. As for romance, that could wait until I'd escaped the cold palace and gotten my revenge. After Consort Bai's house arrest, the palace temporarily quieted. My BBQ business remained booming, even attracting tribute-bearing foreign envoys who commissioned skewers through imperial kitchen eunuchs, claiming they'd never tasted such delicious food. My silver accumulated faster than ever. I'd not only purchased 3 properties in the capital, but secretly sent substantial silver and medicines to my father and brother at the frontier. Letters through the tunnel brought word that both praised my growing independence, urging me to care for myself in the palace until their return to clear my name. I never imagined the truth would emerge so quickly. That night, the emperor came disguised as usual for skewers. After 2 lamb kidney skewers, he suddenly set them down and looked at me seriously. Shen Ruo Ning, do you know why I always come for your skewers? I hesitated, then shook my head. I don't know, because my skewers are the world's best. He chuckled softly, reaching out to stroke my head with natural, intimate movements. Not merely because the skewers are delicious. He paused, his eyes deepening. I first saw you on your palace entry day. You wore red palace robes, standing at Phoenix Ceremony Palace gates, fists clenched tight, eyes determined, nothing like other delicate, fragile consorts. Later, whenever I passed Phoenix Ceremony Palace, I'd smell wonderful food aromas from within and want to try them. But you always expelled me, saying, Your Majesty, please return. This servant studies new dishes and welcomes no idle persons. I listened in amazement. I expelled you. Indeed, he nodded, eyes holding gentle amusement. Though timid then, you possessed uncommon dedication. Later, when Consort Bai grew jealous and fought with you in the imperial garden, you injured your head. Upon awakening, you seemed transformed, not only much bolder but able to create various novel delicacies. His tone grew serious. I knew you hadn't harmed Consort Bai's pregnancy. The Bai family held enormous power then, with Bai-kun forming factions and taking bribes at court. I had to temporarily compromise, banishing you to the cold palace to protect you from Bai family persecution. As for the child in Consort Bai's belly, he sneered, it was never mine. She committed adultery and became pregnant, wanting to frame you so I'd depose you, enabling her to rise through motherhood to become empress. Unfortunately, her tricks might fool others but never me. I stared slack-jawed, speechless for ages. So my cold palace banishment was actually imperial protection. Consort Bai hadn't only framed me but cuckolded the emperor too. Then, why didn't you tell me earlier? I stammered. I feared alerting our enemies. He sighed. The Bai family had operated at court for years with deep-rooted influence. I needed time gathering evidence of their treasonous activities. These 3 years I appeared to favor Consort Bai while secretly eliminating Bai family supporters. Now the Bai influence is destroyed, Consort Bai properly punished, and I can finally protect you openly. He stood, slowly removing his hat to let black hair tumble free, the temple mole particularly striking under lamplight. Taking my hands in both of his, he said solemnly, Shen Ruo Ning, I am Xiao Mu Han, Emperor of the Great Jin. I know these 3 years brought you much suffering. From now on, I won't let you suffer the slightest harm. Will you forgive me? Looking into his sincere eyes, my heart filled with mixed emotions. So that nightly visiting mysterious guard really was the emperor. He'd always been silently protecting me. I remembered how he'd always ordered my specialty, lamb kidneys and pork belly, how he'd timely appeared during the Empress Dowager's investigation to defend me, how he'd unhesitatingly offered investment when I mentioned opening chain BBQ shops. His kindness toward me was never about the skewers. I sniffed, eyes moistening. I forgive you, but you mustn't lie to me again. Xiao Mu Han smiled like a child receiving sweets, gripping my hands tightly. Good. From now on, I'll hide nothing from you. Moreover, I'll restore your consort position and return you to Phoenix Ceremony Palace. Wait, I suddenly remembered something, saying urgently, I don't want Phoenix Ceremony Palace. I want to continue running my BBQ stall in the Cold Palace. Xiao Mu Han paused. Why? Cold Palace conditions are so poor. Don't you want to live in a luxurious palace? Of course I do. I shook my head. But my BBQ stall has already established its reputation in the Cold Palace. Moving to Phoenix Ceremony Palace would be much less convenient for business. Besides, consorts sneaking to Phoenix Ceremony Palace for late-night skewers wouldn't look proper. Xiao Mu Han burst into laughter. Your head's full of nothing but money-making. Very well, I agree. You can continue your Cold Palace stall, but I want to eat there nightly. And for free. No problem, I immediately agreed. As long as your Majesty patronizes Shen's BBQ, lifetime free dining. Moreover, I'll prepare special custom skewers, extra portions at no extra charge. Xiao Mu Han laughed even more heartily, reaching out to gently flick my nose. You little money grubber, but I rather like that. Under the moonlight, his eyes were tender and passionate. My heartbeat accelerated. I knew that from this moment, my life encompassed not just money-making and escape plans, but also someone important. As for Consort Bai and the Bai family, I trusted Xiao Mu Han to deliver justice for the Shen family and me. Meanwhile, I'd continue operating my BBQ stall, earning more money while properly enjoying this hard-won romance. After all, having both wealth and love makes life's ultimate victory. Once my relationship with Xiao Mu Han became public, the palace erupted in shock. Consorts simultaneously envied my imperial favor, while still fighting for places at my BBQ stall, claiming association with the future empress would bring good fortune. Xiao Mu Han made no effort to hide our relationship, openly visiting the Cold Palace for skewers nightly, sometimes even wearing casual clothes to help me serve customers and grill. The formerly aloof, ascetic emperor had become my chief assistant, prompting consorts to joke that His Majesty was a chef delayed by empire-ruling duties. I grinned constantly while business boomed even more, but I never expected Consort Bai's father, Bai Kun, to sabotage me from the shadows. That morning, my brother brought ingredients through the tunnel, his expression grave. Sister, disaster. After learning of your relationship with His Majesty, Bai Kun flew into a rage and bribed all the capital's meat sellers and vegetable vendors not to sell ingredients to us. We can barely find fresh meat and vegetables now. My heart sank. What, that old fox uses such despicable methods? Without ingredients, my BBQ stall would have to close. I couldn't have that when I was planning chain store expansion. Learning this, Xiao Mu Han's face immediately darkened. Outrageous! Does Bai Kun think this can defeat you? I'll immediately order the Imperial Kitchen to supply you with the freshest ingredients daily. No, I immediately refused. Imperial Kitchen ingredients are palace exclusive. If I use them, people would definitely gossip. Besides, I want to earn money through my own abilities, not imperial privileges. Xiao Mu Han paused, then smiled. Very well, I'll respect your wishes, but don't worry, I have a solution. That very afternoon, a squad of imperial guards arrived with dozens of carts of ingredients at the Cold Palace gates. Fresh mutton, beef, pork, plus various vegetables, fruits, even seafood. Xiao Mu Han explained, these ingredients came from the palace's rear gardens and imperial hunting grounds, absolutely fresh and completely free. From now on, I'll handle your ingredient supply. He thumped his chest confidently. Moreover, I'll decree that all capital meat sellers and vegetable vendors must prioritize supplying Shen's BBQ. Anyone refusing violates imperial edicts. Tears filled my eyes with gratitude. Xiao Mu Han, you are too good to me. Silly girl, you are my wife. If I don't treat you well, who will I treat well? He pulled me into his arms, saying tenderly, whatever difficulties you face in future, tell me immediately. I'll always be your strongest support. With imperial backing, the ingredient supply crisis quickly resolved. I launched limited supply promotions. Only 100 skewers daily. First come first served, with VIP priority ordering. This strategy worked brilliantly. Consorts began queuing at the cold palace gate from early evening, with some even bribing Qingdao heavily for reservation slots. That evening, consorts Hui and Gui quarreled again over the last lamb kidney skewer. This time, they didn't fight physically, but both looked to Xiao Mu Han, hoping the emperor would arbitrate. Xiao Mu Han was torn, finally suggesting, "You two play rock, paper, scissors. Whoever wins gets the lamb kidney." Hui won and happily devoured the skewer while Gi, though defeated, good-naturedly ordered 2 vegetable wraps, vowing to win next time. Watching the consorts' harmonious interaction warmed my heart. The formerly scheming, backstabbing palace had become so cozy and entertaining thanks to my BBQ stall. Xiao Mu Han whispered in my ear, "See, your skewers are remarkable. They've made the palace so peaceful. You are now my official palace harmony ambassador." I playfully punched him. "What ambassador? I am just a BBQ seller. But if anyone quarrels in future, I'll ban them from my skewers." Xiao Mu Han laughed heartily, gripping my hand tightly. "Excellent. I'll follow your lead completely from now on." Under the moonlight, we smiled at each other. I knew that from this moment, I possessed not only a money-making career but also someone who loved me. As for schemes and plots, under my skewer's protection and Xiao Mu Han's support, they were merely clowns jumping about. Seeing his ingredient supply sabotage fail, Bai Kun flew into a rage and actually conspired with several ministers who disapproved of Xiao Mu Han favoring me to complain to the Empress Dowager. They claimed I bewitched the sovereign, that my cold palace stall disgraced imperial dignity, and petitioned for my consort status removal and transfer to the Bureau of Punishment. The Empress Dowager already resented this cold palace, cast off sudden imperial favor. Hearing Bai Kun's slander enraged her further, and she immediately summoned both Xiao Mu Han and me to Longevity Palace. That morning, wearing gorgeous palace robes, Xiao Mu Han had specially commissioned from the imperial wardrobe. I followed him to Longevity Palace. The Empress Dowager sat in the main seat looking thunderous, while Bai Kun and several ministers stood beside her with hostile expressions. "Shen Ruo Ning, do you know your crimes?" The Empress Dowager began icily. "This servant knows of none," I replied steadily. "This servant's cold palace stall caused no palace disruption, but actually promoted consort harmony. What crime is there? Insolence." The Empress Dowager slammed the table. "Palace consorts should be gentle, virtuous, supportive wives and mothers. Yet you run stalls like common merchants, thoroughly disgracing imperial dignity." Bai Kun immediately chimed in, "Precisely as the Empress Dowager says, Lady Shen utterly lacks propriety and bewitches sovereigns. Without punishment, how can we maintain order? We petition the Empress Dowager to strip Lady Shen's consort status and restore palace regulations." Other ministers echoed, "Strip Lady Shen's status." My face paled as I prepared to defend myself, but Xiao Mu Han pulled me behind him protectively, declaring firmly, "Mother Empress, Ruo Ning has committed no wrong. Her cold palace stall didn't disrupt the palace but brought it vitality. Moreover, I enjoy her cooking and willingly visit the cold palace nightly for skewers. What is improper about this, Your Majesty?" The Empress Dowager trembled with fury. "You rule the realm. How can you ignore dignity for one woman? Furthermore, Lady Shen comes from military family stock with a fierce temperament, utterly lacking gentle feminine virtue. She is completely unworthy of your favor." Mother Empress heirs, Xiao Mu Han shook his head resolutely. "Thou Ruo Ning has a fierce temperament. She is kind-hearted and intelligent. Unlike those delicate, scheming consorts, I love precisely her genuine nature. As for dignity, I believe sharing favorite foods with one's beloved represents the greatest dignity possible." He continued even more firmly, "Moreover, Ruo Ning's father and brother defend our frontiers valiantly, earning great merit. The Shen family serves our dynasty loyally. Favoring a meritorious minister's daughter isn't wrong but actually inspires military morale, showing the realm I never shortchange those who serve with distinction. Regarding Bai Kun's claims of sovereign bewitching, Xiao Mu Han sneered. Looking at Bai Kun, Minister Bai, your daughter consort Bai committed adultery and became pregnant, then framed Ruo Ning. Surely you are aware of these crimes. I've refrained from pursuing this given your past service. Yet rather than repenting, you conspire with factions to slander loyal ministers' daughters. What are your true intentions? Bai Kun's face went ashen as he collapsed to his knees. Your Majesty, this subject is wronged. These are all fabrications. Wronged, Xiao Mu Han threw a stack of papers before Bai Kun. Here is evidence of your daughter's adultery, plus records of your factional corruption and embezzlement. The proof is ironclad, dare you still deny it? Seeing the evidence, Bai Kun went deathly pale, unable to utter another word. The Empress Dowager was also stunned. She never imagined consort Bai capable of such shameful acts, much less Bai Kun's audacity in forming corrupt factions. Xiao Mu Han looked to the Empress Dowager with respectful but determined tone. Mother Empress, the Bai family's crimes are heinous and deserve severe punishment. As for Ruo Ning, she is not only innocent but meritorious. I've decided to restore her empress status, crowning her as Great Jin's empress to oversee the realm's women. Your Majesty mustn't, the Empress Dowager protested. Mother Empress, my decision is final, Xiao Mu Han declared unwaveringly. Ruo Ning is my beloved woman. Not only will I crown her empress, but she'll continue running her cold palace stall without any interference. With that, he took my hand and turned to leave. Ruo Ning, let's go home for skewers. Following him, my heart filled with profound gratitude. This man had not only cleared my name but openly opposed the Empress Dowager and court ministers to defend my dignity and career. Having such a husband, what more could I ask for? Returning to the cold palace, Xiao Mu Han immediately issued decrees. Bai Kun was to be executed for corruption and factionalism. Consort Bai would be imprisoned in the cold palace for life for adultery and false accusations. All Bai family supporters would be cleared out. The Shen family's injustices were finally rectified, with father and brother recalled to the capital and restored to their positions. I was formally crowned empress to rule over all palace women, but I didn't move to Phoenix Ceremony Palace, continuing instead to run my cold palace, BBQ stall. Xiao Mu Han respected my choice, still visiting nightly for skewers, sometimes even bringing ministers along for what he called experiencing common customs while discussing state affairs. My BBQ stall thus became the Great Jin Dynasty's most unique governmental hall, while I was simultaneously the dynasty's empress and the realm's most famous BBQ proprietress. After becoming empress, my BBQ stall wasn't shut down but expanded dramatically. Xiao Mu Han decreed that several surrounding cold palace buildings be granted to me for ingredient storage and customer dining space. I hired several nimble palace maids and eunuchs specifically for skewering, grilling, and cashiering, while Qingdao became my manager handling daily operations. Consorts remained regular customers, and even the Empress Dowager, after tasting my vegetable wraps, couldn't resist having 2 delivered daily, claiming they were refreshingly light and healthful. My relationship with Xiao Mu Han deepened constantly. He was no longer that aloof, ascetic emperor, but a tender husband who joined me for skewers, listened to my modern stories, even help with the skewering. We'd sit together in the cold palace courtyard admiring the moon, discussing new skewer varieties, planning my chain BBQ shops. One evening after closing, as we sat at the stone table drinking milk tea and eating skewers, he suddenly gripped my hand seriously under the moonlight. Ruo Ning, let's have a child. I paused, face flushing. All right, but having children is fine. It just can't interfere with my BBQ business. Xiao Mu Han burst into laughter. Agreed. It won't interfere with your skewer selling. We'll let our child grow up beside the BBQ stall, sampling the world's finest flavors from birth, becoming a happy little foodie. I nodded with a smile, leaning against his shoulder as the evening breeze carried scents of BBQ and sweet milk tea, warm and tranquil. Several months later, I became pregnant. Xiao Mu Han was ecstatic, immediately ordering the imperial kitchen to prepare nutritious foods daily while having imperial physicians check my pulse regularly. But I remained active, directing palace staff at the BBQ stall daily, simply no longer grilling personally. Learning of my pregnancy, consorts visited with congratulations and gifts of supplements and baby clothes. Consort Hui even joked, "Empress, when the little prince is born, he must be first to try your skewers. Perhaps he'll become your chief taste tester." I grinned widely. "Absolutely. I'll even create an exclusive skewer menu to keep him happy." 10 months later, I successfully delivered a son. Xiao Mu Han named him Xiao Ruo Jin, meaning longing for Ruo Ning. The little prince inherited both our finest qualities, not only handsome but an excellent eater, especially loving my vegetable wraps and managing 2 skewers each time. With our son's birth, my chain BBQ shops finally opened. The first store opened on the capital's busiest street, drawing massive opening day crowds and long queues. Xiao Mu Han specifically decreed my BBQ shops be named Empress Skewers and personally calligraphed the shop signs. Subsequently, Empress Skewer branches spread throughout Great Jin streets and alleys, becoming the realm's most famous BBQ brand. I became the world's happiest woman, possessing a loving husband, adorable child, successful career, and unlimited skewers. Years later, little Prince Xiao Ruo Jin grew into a man inheriting both Xiao Mu Han's wisdom and my BBQ skills, becoming Empress Skewer's second-generation master. Xiao Mu Han and I still loved visiting the Cold Palace BBQ stall evenings, ordering 2 lamb kidney skewers and milk tea, sitting at stone tables reminiscing about those early days. The Cold Palace BBQ stall still glowed with warm lights, wafting tempting aromas. It witnessed not only my career's meteoric rise, but also my romance with Xiao Mu Han, becoming the Great Jin Dynasty's most touching legend. And I, Shen Ruo Ning, a modern BBQ shop owner who'd crossed into Great Jin, not only ran stalls in the Cold Palace for profit but gained love and family, becoming life's ultimate winner. Perhaps this was the perfect ending: wealth and love, skewers and family. What more could one ask for in this lifetime? In those years, whenever night fell deeply, tempting BBQ aromas still wafted from the Cold Palace. Passing palace residents knew that within lay the realm's most delicious skewers, the most heartwarming love story, and tale of one indomitable woman with one devoted emperor. This was the legend of Shen's BBQ, the story of the Cold Palace Empress. In that ancient dynasty lived a unique essence of mortal fires, warming every heart that believed in love and fine food.